Since I was a kid, or basically my whole life, I've had a learning disability. And so anytime I need to write something down or even tweet something, I have to go over what I'm going to say a lot of times, just make sure the grammar's right. Sometimes I have to keep respelling a word because my spelling doesn't even recognize with autocorrect. It's really a whole thing just to be able to communicate in writing form, because I know everyone is, it's very easy for them to just spell everything correctly and express themselves and make sure it's grammatically correct, and they don't really need to look at it any longer more than once. And I've always been mystified by these people who are just able to spell everything, get everything right, and be able to just write a quick text or something and not worry that there's a word missing in there or something. Now suddenly we have the thing like Chat GPT, which I always hear people joke about or tell me they use and stuff like that. But what I have kind of realized is it's always taken me so long in the writing form, probably why I make videos and stuff instead, is it's always hard for me to express myself properly because of that. But I always still want to, because I believe that I have, like anyone does really, a point of view or a perspective or something that I would like to share, and that is just embedded to me in my brain, in myself. But if I were to just throw that to a computer, that would negate me as a person and my perspective at all, because it's almost like I didn't have one. I just wanted to get the task of expressing myself done with, and it didn't matter if I really had anything to say. I just wanted to get the task done, which then makes me think, if all these people who are able to spell correct, do everything grammatically correctly, have just fallen to Chat GPT, it almost makes me think they had no real perspective. It was always the idea that they were able to perfectly do it, but they had nothing really to say with those perfectly constructed, grammatically spell-corrected sentences. And therefore, just throwing that to something like ChatGPT makes sense, because they had no real perspective to say in the first place. Writing in all these things, an expression, was just the idea of getting things done. And I can't think of a less human thing to do, and the fact that you learned everything about writing and communicating and not the basic thing of having your own perspective is maybe a greater failing to all these people that are writing in the first place. I feel less bad about my own grammar because at least it had a soul behind it, and I'm learning that none of these people ever did, because they can just be replaced by a computer and it doesn't really matter to them at all.